What do you think the emotion that we're most terrified of feeling? But the emotion we're most terrified of feeling is joy, because joy requires you to trust in life, and joy reminds you of the things that you could lose, which makes you feel vulnerable. And most of us don't want to feel vulnerable because we're afraid of losing those things. So, in the process, we stop ourselves from feeling joy, from falling in love with life. And our brains are programmed for creating problems. The ego within us always lives in lack. It's always something else to do, so that we put joy on hold. We will get joy when we get that thing, when the relationship comes right, when the money comes in, when my health gets better. And in the process, we rob ourselves from feeling joy for this moment. And you have to understand the clever sort of trick in this, because as long as you're not feeling joyful, you're out there being more productive. And so the whole society is based on, I haven't gotten to where I want to be. So we buy courses on productivity, we buy courses on increasing efficiency. The whole industry is rigged towards making you more of a productive, efficient person. And that does not sustain joy, because you can get all those things in your life that you want. But why do it with such struggle, with such resentment, with such suffering, with such victimhood? So that I can't get this and they've got this and I don't have this. And in the process, you're suffering and you're moving further away from joy. And if you really look at it, joy is the most honest observation of reality. Is that means you've understood reality and the truth of reality. So if your life is about sorrow, misery, suffering, and the problems with your life, then you're moving further away from the truth. It's as simple as that. Because the truth is that joy is what needs to be experienced. It doesn't negate your personal responsibility. It doesn't negate your social responsibility. It enlivens it. It enriches your engagement with life, because you're not suffering life. You're embracing life. You're living life, and you're living joyously. In many shamanistic societies, if you came to a medicine man saying that you feel depressed or that you feel disheartened or dispirited, he would ask you four questions. And the four questions are: when did you stop dancing? When did you stop singing? When did you stop being enchanted by stories? And when did you stop finding comfort in the territory of silence? If we look at this very carefully, we can understand that if you're not living joyously and you're not dancing and you're not celebrating and you're not still inside and you're not enchanted by what other people are saying because you're so consumed by your suffering and your problems, then you're moving away further from the truth. And the effect of that is going to be depression, anxiety, ill health, dis-ease, because you're out of alignment with your essential nature. And where is the best reflection and the best measurement and gauge of living in harmony with life? It's children. Children live with joy. They don't live with resentment. They don't live with ego, self of, I don't have that. They're living together. How easy is it for a child to dance, to sing, to be enchanted by what adults have to say or by what their friends have to say? Can they sit in silence and be still? You'll find generally it's much easier for them. But try to find an adult that can do that. And that's why it's so important for you to recognize that if you're not in tune with life, it means that you're on the same frequency of life, then you're living as a victim of life. And you're pushing your joy down the road to a time that may never come. You may never achieve those things that you say you want in order for you to feel happy. So, how is your state of living right now? Are you in harmony with life? Are you still inside? Are you able to dance and sing and celebrate and listen to stories? You're not. So, what you're doing is, without realizing it, you're living in lack. You're saying, I don't have these things, so I can't be happy. But is that really true? If you don't have those things, can you really not be happy with the way things are right now, with embracing your life as it is right now? And that's why I created the Joy Project. It is the most important work you'll ever do, because in making your goal joy without stopping all your other responsibilities, which you must do. So it's not a case of, I'm going to neglect my family, I'm going to neglect my health, I'm going to neglect my proficiency, my efficiency, my productivity, they all remain. In fact, they will become more nourished if you choose to live with joy. So if you're not living with lack and you're living with wholeness, you now have a new energy, you have a new fuel within you. And you find people who have gone through this journey, normally caused by great suffering, saying, I can't do this anymore. I need to apply a different way of engaging with life. They're a lot more lighter. And you find that people who are exhausted and don't have any energy and are depleted, and they can't even listen to somebody else. They can't hear somebody else's problems. They're depleted inside. They're empty. It's because there's nothing nourishing them. There is no fuel inside. So they can't handle anymore. And that's because they've made their problems more important than their joy. So in you choosing joy and choosing to feel grateful and choosing you to feel whole, you're going to realize how many barriers you've created within yourself that push you away from finding this joy. Because ultimately, think about everything that you want in your life. The end result of all these things that you're going to get is that you'll feel happy. Isn't that not true? When you get the car, when you get the house, when you get the perfect partner, when you get the perfect health, when you get the perfect job, at the end stage of all of that, what do you hope to feel? Joy. And haven't you seen how many times you get those things, yet the joy lasts momentarily? So you've robbed this entire existence, which these few moments of living joyously for this thing that may or may not give you joy. Your mind is set that when I get that thing, I'll be happy. But you know, if you stop deceiving yourself, that it's not true, because your joy lies in you being able to embrace your life now as it is right now, not how you expect it to be. Your expectations make sure that you can never love life. Your expectations say, when life is this way, then I can be happy. When the waiter brings me the perfect dish, then I can be happy. When my wife or my husband speaks to me in this way, then I can be happy. When my child is this, then that, and it goes on and on and on. All of it is a clever ploy by your ego mind to kick the can down the road so that you can never feel joy. And most of us die without our song inside of us being sung. So they have this expression that when you were a child, the teacher says, okay, kids, it's time for you to put your thinking cap on. Time for you to think. In modern day society, the thinking cap never goes off. Our entire reality is a construct of our thoughts. If you remove thoughts, what are you? Do you know yourself outside of what you think you are, outside of your name, outside of your job, outside of your problems? So it's time to take the thinking cap off and open the heart. The heart is closed, the heart is sealed. The heart is the language of love, it's the language of gratitude, it's the language of joy, it's the language of peace, the language of comfort. But we don't use the heart. We use our thinking caps all the time, and our entire reality is constructed from thought rather than feeling, because we live in a world of living things. The flowers are alive, the oceans are alive, nature is alive, the stars are alive, human beings are alive. But what do we worship? Think about it. What have we made into our idols? They say in all religions that you should only worship God and you shouldn't worship idols. What are these idols? You should worship the living. God is the living. We worship the dead. We worship dead objects. We worship technology, our phones, our iPad, the furniture in our house, all these things that are dead. How much do we worship? Worship means what you give your attention to. Life, nature, feeling, the world of feeling, being in the world, being attached to the world. Technology and devices, which are great, because I'm recording this on a device, would not be enabled. So there are benefits in technology, but think about everything you hold dear in your life. It's things that you want, possessions. And these things are dead things. They're not living things. How many times have you just wanted to watch the sunrise, or swim in the ocean, or take a walk in nature, or look at a person laughing, or dance, or sing, or embrace the soft realities of the living life, which is being lived and felt? No, what we do is we're constructed through our heads, and we're worshiping dead things. And that's what we've made our gods. These are our idols, these objects that we want. The furniture, the house, the car, the job, all of these things will lead to buying things And then those things, if we don't purchase them, they mean nothing to us. If they're given to us for free, we don't value them. We only value things that we pay for because that's our life transaction. We pay for them, these things, so they must be important. Nature is free. The sunrise is free. The sunset is free. Looking and gazing at the moon is free. Looking at another human being and laughing with them is free. We don't value those things. But to save up and get the $2,000 iPhone, that's worth it to us, right? That's a price we put on it. So until we don't pay for something, we don't value it. And I think that needs to change where we celebrate the living and not celebrate the dead things. Use the dead things, but live in life which is lived and celebrated here and now.